Hey everyone, I hope this finds you well. Great that so many of you have been able to connect in our summer groups. You've been able to see people face to face for the first time in ages. It's been great to see some of you. And I know this has been a strange time, hasn't it? It's been really unusual and it feels like we're transitioning out of lockdown, but we're going into another moment of change and transition where we're going to have to navigate what that looks like. And I know this time's been hugely uncomfortable for some of us. We've had to juggle lots of different things and navigate so much change in such a short space of time. And yet, the world has changed, hasn't it, significantly? And at the same time, this is an incredible moment of opportunity. Like, though the world has changed, the good news and the hope of Jesus has not changed. And I don't think there's ever been a time like this in our lifetime where there's a unique opportunity to share the good news of Jesus and his hope with those around us. And so we want to step into that with boldness and with courage too. I wanted to bring a little bit of an update as to what that's going to look like for us as Foil Vineyard Church specifically over the next number of weeks and months as we try and navigate all the changes and the transitions that are coming in. And as we look to respond, of course, to his call to be salt and light in the world. We want to be a kingdom people. We are a people who are sent to go and make disciples of all people, starting where we are. And so I want to give you a little bit of a sense of the direction of travel, a bit of a roadmap, if you will, for how we're going to do that practically and how we're going to practically outwork the invitation of Jesus to us as a church community. We've been having lots of conversations, with God on the beach. That seems to be where I've really found life at the minute. And with other leaders across the church leaders across the UK and Ireland, some of you, of course, with the wider network of vineyard churches we are part of. And lots of information to digest, to consider. And at the same time, I've really felt like God's been speaking to me loads personally during lockdown. I don't know if you found that. And especially as we started to kind of think about the transition up ahead, I've just felt God stir me afresh into what it means to be called to lead what Jesus is asking of us in this moment, what he's called us to as a church community, and not to simply hunker down and just get stuck and bogged down trying to just hold on. I believe this is an exciting moment of opportunity, one that we can lean into with faith. And so I don't want to miss that. I don't know about you. And so what does that mean for us as a church? What does that look like? Well, it starts for me with asking, what are we doing this for anyway? Why are we doing this anyway? And I think that's boiled down to me to one thing. Like, I want to see people's lives changed by Jesus, don't you? Like, I want my life to be changing. I want Jesus to be changing me. I want Jesus to be changing you. I want people who have no clue what God is like to be discovering the power and the presence and the love of Jesus for themselves and seeing their lives turned around by him. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what stirs me. That's what makes passion come alive in me. And that's what I want to see God do through the church. And so as we organize and structure and think through how we do that, we want to be doing that in such a way that we're allowing Jesus to change people's lives, that we're nurturing people to live in his way, that we're spurring one another on to invite others to experience Jesus for themselves. And so with that in mind, knowing that we have all these restrictions relating to COVID in place, meaning that we simply can't go back to doing church just the way it was before, we have to see this, I believe, as a unique opportunity to think creatively about how we do church, about how we be the church. So let's step into that courageously and step into all that God has called us to as a church community. So let's talk about Sundays first. It's funny, isn't it? Everybody wants to talk about Sundays when we talk about church. Of course, throughout the ages, the church has met weekly for worship, to gather together as a people in lots of different ways across different cultures and different times. And so there's a reason for that. But it's funny that we kind of get caught just wanting to talk about Sunday service. And we know that the Sunday morning is just a snapshot of what it means to be the church. I think we've been reminded of that during this time, that being the church is so much more than just a weekly gathering. We can be mobile, flexible. We should be creative in how we live out the good news of Jesus across our city. As we do that, though, and as we seek to live out our faith in our everyday, as we seek to spur one another on, it's super helpful to have a weekly touch point, a connection together as part of our rhythms of church during the week. And so we still want to have that. We still want to be able to connect with the broader story and vision that God is calling us to as a church, throughout the week. We do value creating a space to teach from the scriptures and to teach the good news of Jesus and his kingdom and invite people to respond to that and apply that truth to their lives. And we also want to continue to provide a space, a place for people who are searching for Jesus, who've maybe never been to church before, to further connect with the life that he has to offer. And so going forward, Sundays will continue to be a touch point for us as a church body throughout the week. It's been so wonderful to be able to do so much of that online over the last number of months. And I don't know what we would have done if we didn't have those tools, but we've definitely missed some things, haven't we? We've missed being able to connect face to face with one another, I'm sure. At times it's maybe felt like it's more like we're passively looking on rather than being given the opportunity to participate in the moment together. You know, we want to make the most of this opportunity to step into inviting our world to experience Jesus, to come to church, to encounter what it means to follow him for themselves. And so with these in mind, we've put together 4 actions that we believe make the most of this opportunity, allow us to be creative and flexible as we go forward. So I want to talk you through those just for a Sunday morning. So the first thing is live stream. So starting from the beginning of August, we're going to be moving from a pre-recorded service that goes out live to live streaming a Sunday morning online. And what's going to be different about that? Well, we're going to create more opportunities for you to feel like you can be part of it, allowing you to interact in the moment over the chat, to be able to respond perhaps to prayer requests there and then, having open questions that we can engage with the theme together. We want it to feel like us. We want to feel like you can be there. We want it to be a place where we can communicate vision and culture, engage with the teachings of Jesus together, and create opportunities for people to respond to that. So that's the first thing. Second thing that we're going to do is something we're calling watch parties. So from the middle of August, we want to kick off a new way to engage with the Sunday morning, which we're calling watch parties. And I'm really excited about this. We're really excited about this. I think it provides us with an opportunity to start to step out into this invitation of Jesus, to invite our world to church, and more importantly, to invite our world to experiencing Jesus and responding to his good news. And so a watch party will essentially be a group of up to a maximum of 6 people in a home, socially distancing, of course, engaging with Sunday morning live stream together, starting with breakfast or coffee, tuning into the service together, maybe leaving room to respond and pray for one another at the end, and then talking about how you might put that into practice during your week. And we want not just simply to do that with church people, we love to do that, but we want to also create room for us to invite our world to that. We want to keep a couple of spaces for our neighbors, for colleagues, family members, friends, to invite them to our home for breakfast, to engage with church, maybe to open up a conversation on faith with Jesus. And we love you to start to consider what would that look like for you if you can, to host a watch party, maybe teaming up with a couple of others from the church to do this, and then inviting your world to be a part of that. We're going to be sending out a sign-up form next week just to look at specifically at watch parties. We'd love you to fill that out, whether you'd be up for hosting one, whether you can't host one but would like to be a part of one, and so on, and then we can begin to plan and link people up. So why not start thinking and praying about this now? I chat to some others from church, maybe team up together in your neighborhood to host one. And then we're planning to kick these off in the middle of August as a way to engage with the Sunday morning and across our city. So thirdly, that's the second thing. So thirdly, at the factory. So for some, we recognize that hosting or being part of a watch party is just not possible for a variety of reasons. So from mid-August, we're also going to be hosting a live watch party at the Shirt Factory in the church building for a limited number of people where it's safe to socially distance. And this will be a way for those who aren't able to connect in homes across our city to participate in the Sunday morning live stream. And then obviously there'll be some of you who are shielding, who can not engage with either of those options. And actually, for you, we want to just say, we want you to engage with it live in your home and connect and interact in that way. And we'd still love you to do that. And then finally, the fourth thing I want to talk about relating to Sunday mornings is let's talk about families. So the Kids at Home material, I don't know if you've come across it or been using it as families, but this has really revived our faith life as a family. You know, it's been amazing for me to hear what God is speaking to my kids and for me to be able to share what God is speaking to me. And it's just been a really powerful time quite often. And so we've really found it of life to us. We want to keep finding a way to empower families to disciple one another and to connect with Jesus together. And we also truthfully want to allow our kids to have an opportunity to connect with one another. We recognize that's missing. And so in the last week in August, we're going to host a monthly family church, which it will maybe doesn't do what it says in the tin, but it'll be families coming together in their families to connect with our kids at home material, and we'll connect with it'll help our families engage with God together in that moment, but it'll also create a space for our kids and our families to connect with one another. And it'll be a place of invitation as well, where we get to model how we disciple our kids and learn from them in the process. So that's Sunday mornings. That's a lot of information, I know, but just I'll let you digest that and consider that and begin to think it through. Obviously, Sunday mornings is not the full expression of what it means to be the church. It's only part of the story. And so I want to talk just for a moment about discipleship and mission, and then loving action in our community. And we'll give more information on this coming up as we get closer to September, but I just want to give you the highlights here. So one of the things that God has been speaking to us deeply and consistently about during lockdown is just his invitation to us to a deeper and fuller experience of Christ, and to step out courageously, boldly in sharing his hope in and through our lives. And so a Sunday service, we recognize in and of itself isn't fully able to accomplish this. It can help set us in the right direction, but the healing and transformation work of Jesus happens outside of that often. And it happens in a number of different ways. It happens, first of all, through our daily rhythms with Jesus as we personally participate with the work of the Spirit in our lives. Secondly, it happens as we mature into the likeness of Jesus, only as we journey faith with others, where we get to find encouragement, comfort, challenge, where we're spurred on by those who are also seeking to live in the way of Jesus alongside us and who are calling us into more. And then thirdly, there is an experience of Jesus and his kingdom that I believe is only possible as we step out of the trenches to share him with others and to be agents of his loving mercy to a broken and hurting world. So as we begin to think about discipleship and mission, that's something that we want to consider. And how do we help facilitate this is a church community on mission going forward? So in September, we want to launch a set of smaller groups of no more than 6 people that are going to meet in homes across or other spaces across our city to journey living life in the way of Jesus together and spurring one another on to share him with others. And then monthly, we're going to gather these groups in a hub, and anyone else who wants to join us. And that'll be a time where we get to experience the risen of Jesus together in our midst as a body, to take communion, to invite the Holy Spirit to come and minister to us in our midst, and to help set the direction for the rest of the months in our groups. And we want to keep these groups of 6 at most that we're calling huddles that meet during the month really simple. We want them to be, we'll need leaders to help, who carry the kingdom and love Jesus, to help lead these groups and to facilitate them. And again, you might use this as an opportunity to invite friends to your home, your neighbors, colleagues, to come and explore and journey faith and life in Jesus with you. We'll send out more information near September, but I just wanted to get you thinking and praying and asking, how could I participate? What's my role in that? And what does it mean for me? Maybe even to lead a group. And then finally, just for a moment, I want to talk about loving action in our communities. And again, we'll talk more about this in the coming weeks and months. But the recovery process for our city and region is going to take time, as you know, and the long-term effects of COVID are going to work themselves in our communities. And this is an incredible opportunity for us as a church. In fact, it's something that we need to step up to and step up to the plate on. And we want to be an active, loving presence in our community in tangible ways, being actors of mercy and justice, of kindness, and showing hospitality in whatever way we can. Of course, we want this to happen in our everyday with you as you respond to the needs of those around you. But we also see there's an opportunity from this place to actually be a part of partnering with those who are doing amazing work on the ground in our communities, to partner with them to see poverty alleviated and hope brought in tangible ways. Where there's good work happening, we want to serve and partner alongside. And where there are gaps, we want to see where we can step in and help. And not being embarrassed about what we bring to the table, but doing it with honesty, humility, generosity, and kindness. There's going to be opportunities to practically serve. There's going to be opportunities to give financially. We may well build it into the rhythms of our huddles, giving small groups an opportunity to put love into action. So that's what it's going to look like going forward, and we'll talk more about that near the time. So just to recap then, from the beginning of August, we'll be beginning live streaming online. In middle of August, we'll be launching watch parties across homes in our city at the church building. And then in the last week of August, we'll be hosting our first family church to engage with the Kids at Home program and to connect with God together in our families. And then from September, we're going to be kicking off our hub and huddles, places to catalyze discipleship and mission. And throughout August and in the run up to September, we'll be working with the local community to explore ways that we can continue to partner with them in the COVID recovery process. There's so much more than that, but I think I've given you more than enough. So have a think about that. Begin to let it excite you, get you passionate for what Jesus is inviting you into. What does that look like for you? And how can I play my part? Blessings, and we'll chat soon.